from Rock History Music. Thank you, folks, for joining us tonight. Some sad news in rock and roll, especially with a band that I've truly loved for so many years. A lot of my friends were Deep Purple fans, and well, speaking of Deep Purple, Roger Glover produced some Nazareth stuff, but I was always more of a Nazareth fan as far as that kind of genre of music. But yeah, sad news today. Manny Charlton has passed away. He was the original guitarist. He was also served doing production duties for the band. But the string of albums that the band had, not as much for 71 with the self-titled album or 72 for Exercise, but Razamanaz, it started in 73. I mean, they had two albums in 73, Loud and Proud and Razamanaz. By the way, Pete Agnew, who I've interviewed twice, we have a series, sorry about that, coughing. We had a series with Pete running right now where he talks about a lot of the members of the band and just, being involved with them and being a Scottish rock band who sometimes when they're interviewed, it's hard to understand them because he said that, Pete Agnew said that people would always go, well, yeah, I like Nazareth, but I don't know, I can't understand what they're saying. But that's part of being Scottish. I've been around a lot of Scottish people in my life, so it was always easy for me to understand them. But Razamanaz, right off the gate on their third album, where they really started becoming popular in North America, went platinum right off the bat. Loud and Proud in 73, also platinum. Then Rampant took a little dive. It went gold, but still, really, any band that's only had one album that goes gold, they're hopping around. Then by 1975, and Pete Agnew has talked about this, the fact that their whole world changed for Hair of the Dog. I mean, it was insane what happened. The band, when we're playing these venues, and all of a sudden we're playing these venues, and they were traveling all over the world. It was a platinum experience for them, let's just say. And Love Hurts on there, and the title song on there. Excuse me. But I never got a chance to interview Manny Charlton. By the way, he was 80 years old. I never had a chance to. Last year, a couple of years ago, he was working with as a producer for a side project, and I had a chance to possibly interview him at that point, but that kind of fell through. Because I interviewed Dan McCafferty, their lead singer. His accent's very, very thick, and it was a bad connection on the phone. So anyway, Close Enough for Rock and Roll, which went platinum in 76, is, to some people, and I noticed this when we were putting the Pete Agnew interview up, a favorite album for a lot of people. It did really well. Close Enough for Rock and Roll followed, Playing the Game. Pete Agnew retired after a long tour in 89. He just decided to retire, and now the only original member is Manny Charlton, retired. And the only original member is Pete Agnew. And it sounds like a more metally band now. You'd think with Pete Agnew getting older, the band would mellow out, but that's never seems to be the case when it comes to rockers. It's almost like they have something to prove. So Manny passed away. He was 80 years old, confirmed from Pete Agnew today. A band that could really, really rock. And, I always talk about staring at the speakers, when you hear something. He made us do that as the guitarist. I mean, in that band, right? So may he rest in peace. I'm going to read some of your comments, and then we're going to call it a night. But, it made me think about listening to those albums and the excitement that I felt. And, Daryl Sweet died many moons ago, their drummer. And there you go. Manny's the second one. Ronnie Parker. I was just thinking about this guy and reading info on him the other day. Isn't that interesting, huh? Believe in Rebel. Sorry to hear. We're getting older. Indeed. Hi, Mark. Hello again. Mark was just on our Rock History book channel because I do Today in Rock History every single day. Jim Law, damn, I'm 60. And they were one of the first bands I jammed on. Oh, cool. Rest in peace, Manny. Missing Mars, absolutely gutted. and an interesting chap. You know, they were all had. But Pete Agnew told me, he says, we're so typical of what people think Scottish people are. He says, because, you know, we partied a lot during I said, but yeah, but Pete, all rock stars did too, right? Gene Phillips. See Nazareth 4 times. Last time in 1988. I've only seen them twice. They were a great band, very professional. Manny was very underrated guitarist. Very true. I mean, This Flight Tonight, right? The Joni Mitchell song. God. Let me before I get to some more comments, I'd be remiss if I didn't go down to the singles. I'm frozen here. Oh, well, this is great. This is rare when I come on and I'm actually frozen out of my own computer. Hold on. Oh yeah, I'm actually frozen. This is weird. Oh, here we go. This has never happened to me before. But here we go. Okay, their first Broken Down Angel from Razmanaz. Again, their third album was when everything kind of clicked together. And anyone knows that's in the UK, that was a hit. Certainly not a hit anywhere else. And Bad Bad Boy, that's a great song. But again, to North Americans, a lot of those hits in the UK were album tracks to us in North America. Razmanaz was not a hit anywhere, really. You know, that song, dun dun dun. It was just crazy. And then from Loud and Proud was their very first multicultural hit with This Flight Tonight, the Joni Mitchell song. They were a band that did a lot of covers. They did, and they made them Nazareth songs. I know that's cliche to say that, but that's indeed what they did. This Flight Tonight made it to number 11. In 1973, I know a lot of people saying, you know, the Barracuda riff was taken from This Flight Tonight. Love Hurts in the UK wasn't a hit. It made it to number 1. Made it to number 41, rather. Sorry, I was looking at number 1. In Canada, it reached number 1. In the US, it reached number 8. Hair of the Dog was really not a hit anywhere, but it was an album track that people played, and AM stations played it as well. It was just a phenomenon, that song. You'd hear and you go, what did he just say? My White Bicycle. I remember that. That was a funny song that appeared on their best of, their greatest hits. Holy Roller was a great song. I remember listening to that and thinking the old term, don't be so heavenly that you're of no earthly good, where there are some people, and I'm not stereotyping, but there's always a few people in every group, even religious groups, that are so interested in helping the church that they leave their families behind, or they don't do the right thing overall, right? So when I heard that, I remember thinking that term. Although my computer's doing it again. Anyway, but close enough for rock and roll. I'd have to, when the dust settles, I'd have to say that's probably my favorite album. Let me go to some comments and we'll, Our Love Leads to Matt. Yeah. Brian, yeah. Dennis Perrin, Hair of the Dog was written after a bad relationship. Rest in peace, Manny, from Billy Ray. John Aldrin, thank you, John. Nazareth Rocks. And we have a series playing right now. If you go into Rock History Book, the entire interview with Pete Agnew's on there. He didn't want to come on camera, but usually I'll say no to an artist that doesn't want to come on camera, but Pete is such a gentleman and a beautiful man to talk to. Oh, yeah, Please Don't Judas Me. I remember that, Mark. Yeah. Oh, they had so many. Nazareth was a driving band. They're not the same band they are because Pete's the only remaining guy. They're a different band. And if you don't have Dan McCafferty Manny Charlton has been gone since 1990. That tour in 89, he just said, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I want to retire from Nazareth. And Pete Agnew was more than Manny retired. I keep screwing up the names. I'm very tired tonight from doing yard work. Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight, folks. I appreciate it. Sad news in rock and roll. May he rest in peace. He has given us a lot. When you look at, they're a guitar-driven band with a guy with a raspy voice, with Dan McCafferty, and and he was the guitarist. He created a lot of that sound, right? And produced them at times as well. Maybe rest in peace. Thanks, everyone. It's John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Please subscribe, like our video, and share our videos as well.